The world of hip-hop has just been shaken to its core. Kendrick Lamar, the lyrical giant from Compton, has pulled off a move so massive that even the charts can't contain it. With over 1 million tickets sold for his latest tour, Kendrick has not only broken records, he has left fans, critics, and even his fiercest rivals stunned. But what makes this story truly explosive is the silence from none other than Drake. For over a decade, Drake has been considered untouchable when it comes to commercial success, dominating streaming platforms and arenas worldwide. Yet Kendrick's monumental achievement has flipped the script, leaving even Drake's most loyal fans scrambling to defend their king. Tonight, we dive deep into the shocking numbers, the fan wars exploding online, and the possibility that hip-hop's crown may be shifting right before our eyes. Buckle up, this is history in the making. When the announcement hit, it wasn't just music news, it was an earthquake across the entertainment world. Kendrick Lamar had done the unthinkable, selling over 1 million tickets for his latest global tour. This wasn't a rumor, it wasn't speculation, it was fact. Headlines spread like wildfire, and fans everywhere were left stunned. The phrase, "Kendrick shocks the world," wasn't exaggeration, it was understatement. For years, Kendrick has been hailed as hip-hop's lyrical prophet, the man who could blend poetry with rhythm, social commentary with storytelling. But there was always one critique that lingered. Sure, Kendrick is brilliant, but can he match Drake's numbers? Drake, after all, is the certified hitmaker, the king of charts, the global pop rap icon whose tours usually define entire summers. Kendrick was the intellectual, the poet, the critical darling. Now, with this milestone, Kendrick has shattered that stereotype. The shocking part isn't just the raw figure, 1 million tickets, but how quickly it happened. In city after city, pre-sales sold out in minutes. Screenshots of error messages and waitlist notifications filled social media. Fans were posting videos of themselves crying after missing their chance, while others bragged about securing golden tickets. Some even compared the frenzy to a sneaker drop, writing, "Trying to get Kendrick tickets is worse than trying for Jordans." That's how intense the demand was. And here's the kicker, these weren't just cheap seats flying off the shelves. VIP packages, floor seats, and premium experiences were disappearing first. People weren't just willing to attend, they were willing to invest hundreds, even thousands, into being part of what they already knew would be a cultural event. The resale market exploded overnight, with tickets listed at 5x or even 10x their original value. For some shows, $150 seats were reselling for close to $1,000. That level of demand is something even Drake's most loyal fans had to admit was shocking. The reactions poured in. On Twitter/X, hashtags like #KendrickShocksTheWorld and #1million tickets began trending. One fan tweeted, "Drake runs Spotify. Kendrick runs the culture. 1 million tickets sold proves it." Another wrote, "Y'all said Kendrick was too lyrical, too underground, too serious. He just outsold your fave. Respect the GOAT." The debates got heated fast, with Drake stans firing back, "Don't forget Drake's tours sell out too." This isn't new. The clash of fanbases created a digital battleground, with both sides slinging memes, stats, and insults. But no matter how heated the debates got, one truth was undeniable, Kendrick Lamar had shocked the world. The real drama, though, came from the silence of @Champagnepapi himself. Drake, normally quick to post on Instagram, drop cryptic lyrics, or engage with fan chatter, remained uncharacteristically quiet. That silence only amplified the narrative, Drake is stunned. Memes spread like wildfire, Drake staring blankly into space, Drake on the phone looking stressed, Drake refreshing Ticketmaster. Fans turned the silence into a storyline, creating a moment where the absence of words spoke louder than any diss track. Media outlets jumped in to fuel the fire. @Complex tweeted, "Kendrick Lamar just sold 1M tickets. Is the throne shifting?" @XXL posted, "Drake silent after Kendrick's massive milestone." Even mainstream outlets like CNN and BBC picked up the story, treating Kendrick's ticket sales as not just music news, but cultural history. When hip-hop crosses into CNN headlines, you know it's seismic. What makes this moment especially shocking is that Kendrick did it without Drake's formula. Drake has mastered the art of dominance, frequent singles, chart-friendly hits, massive playlist placements. Kendrick plays a different game, long gaps between albums, deep themes, minimal pop crossover. Yet somehow, the artist who does less commercially just pulled off one of the biggest commercial wins in modern hip-hop history. That contradiction is what makes the world stop and stare. Fans started connecting the dots, pointing out how this wasn't just about ticket sales, it was about trust. Kendrick's fans trust that when he tours, it's worth it. They believe every performance will be legendary, every setlist unforgettable, every stage design meaningful. Drake's shows are spectacles, yes, but Kendrick's shows are often described as spiritual experiences. That difference, fans argue, is why people are willing to travel across states, pay inflated prices, and fight tooth and nail for seats. Industry insiders weighed in too. Promoters called it one of the most impressive pre-sales they'd ever seen. Analysts speculated that Kendrick could gross hundreds of millions, rivaling or even surpassing Drake's recent tour earnings. And behind the scenes, labels and managers were surely recalculating strategies. If Kendrick can pull this off without flooding the market with singles, then the industry may need to rethink what commercial even means. The comparisons, of course, are inevitable. Fans dug up Drake's last tour numbers and plastered them side by side with Kendrick's. Arguments broke out. Drake did it first, Kendrick's more impressive because he's less mainstream, Drake sells to everyone, Kendrick sells to believers. The nuances didn't matter, the perception did. And the perception was clear. Kendrick Lamar had just landed a blow so big that even Drake's empire felt the tremors. In hip-hop, perception is everything. It's not just about who sells more, it's about who feels like they're winning. And right now, Kendrick feels like the winner. The shock isn't just felt by fans, but by other artists too. Rappers across the board posted congratulations, sly comments, or subtle jabs. Some celebrated Kendrick for raising the bar, while others hinted that Drake needed to wake up. The industry thrives on competition, and Kendrick's achievement has lit a fire under everyone. But let's not miss the bigger picture. This isn't just a battle between two rappers. This is about the evolution of hip-hop itself. For years, the narrative has been that commercial rap and conscious rap live in separate worlds. Kendrick just proved they don't. You can rap about systemic injustice, personal struggle, and complex narratives, and still sell out stadiums worldwide. That's what shocks the world. So part 1 of this story is simple yet monumental. Kendrick Lamar didn't just sell tickets. He shattered an industry ceiling, silenced doubters, and forced even Drake, the king of numbers, to stand in the shadow of a new record. And while Drake's silence lingers, the world can't stop asking, is this the moment the crown begins to shift? Hashtag Kendrick shocks the world, hashtag 1 million tickets, hashtag hip hop history, hashtag KDOT, hashtag Drake, hashtag rap culture at Kendrick Lamar at Champagne Poppy. If part 1 was about the shock of Kendrick's 1 million ticket milestone, part 2 is about the ripple effect, the way this single achievement poured gasoline on one of the most heated rivalries in hip hop history, Kendrick Lamar versus Drake. For over a decade, fans have debated who truly owns the throne. On one side, you have Drake, the self-proclaimed Six God, a chart-dominating machine who knows how to craft a hit better than anyone alive. On the other side, you have Kendrick Lamar, the cerebral storyteller, the poet whose pen bleeds authenticity. The debate has always been framed as numbers versus respect, popularity versus artistry, mainstream dominance versus cultural depth. But Kendrick's 1 million ticket shocker shattered that old framework. Suddenly, the man who was supposedly too lyrical to compete with Drake's numbers just went head-to-head on the commercial playing field, and won. Boxing glove, the fan wars ignite. Social media lit up in ways we haven't seen since the height of the Pusha T vs Drake beef. Hashtags like #Team Kendrick and #Team Drake were everywhere, with Twitter/X turning into a digital battleground. Kendrick fans bragged. Drake may own the streams, but Kendrick just proved he owns the culture. When people spend money, not just clicks, it shows who they trust. 1M tickets. End of debate. Drake fans clapped back. Y'all acting like Drake hasn't done these numbers before. Don't forget the "It's All a Blur" tour. Drake's been selling out stadiums for years. Kendrick is just catching up. But here's the twist: perception matters more than facts. Even if Drake's numbers are huge, the timing and narrative make Kendrick's achievement feel bigger. The silence from Drake only fueled the perception that Kendrick had landed a decisive blow. Chart decreasing Drake's silence, Kendrick's spotlight. Normally, Drake thrives in moments like this. He'll drop a sly Instagram post, tease a diss in his lyrics, or flood social media with indirect shots. But this time? Nothing. Not a tweet, not a post, not even a like. For an artist as image-conscious as Drake, that silence spoke volumes. Fans immediately noticed. Memes exploded: Drake photoshopped staring out a rainy window, Drake holding a calculator, Drake Googling how to outsell Kendrick. Even celebrities joined the fun, with some posting cryptic emojis hinting at the shift in power. Meanwhile, Kendrick didn't have to say a word. His numbers were the message. By doing less, he actually said more. That contrast, Drake quiet, Kendrick quieter, made the achievement resonate even louder. Fire the Rivalry timeline. To fully grasp why this moment matters, you have to look back at their history. 2011, Buried Alive interlude, Drake gives Kendrick a guest spot on Take Care, signaling early respect. 2013, Control verse, Kendrick calls out Drake by name, challenging him and others to step up. This was the first real shot fired. 2017, Damn vs. More Life, Kendrick's Pulitzer-winning album versus Drake's playlist experiment. Fans argued artistry versus accessibility. 2018, Pusha T beef, Drake takes a major hit during his feud with Pusha, while Kendrick fans point out that the crown is vulnerable. 2022, Mr. Morale vs. Honestly, Nevermind, Kendrick drops a deeply personal masterpiece. Drake surprises with a dance album. The contrast couldn't be sharper. Now, in 2025, this 1 million ticket moment feels like the culmination of everything. The seeds planted in 2013 with Control have grown into a tree of rivalry that defines the culture. Television media fueling the fire. Of course, media outlets love this narrative. Headlines like, "Kendrick Lamar just did what Drake couldn't." "Is the throne shifting in hip-hop?" "Drake silent as Kendrick sells 1 million tickets." Every outlet, from hip-hop blogs to mainstream TV, is cashing in on the storyline. Debate shows on ESPN-style platforms even ask the question, if Kendrick is LeBron, is Drake Kobe? That kind of cross-industry chatter shows how massive this moment has become. Musical notes: the music connection. Here's where things get even juicier, the whispers of new music. Some insiders claim Drake has been in the studio working overtime since the news broke. The theory is simple: Drake doesn't like being outshined. The moment Kendrick shocks the world, Drake wants to respond with either a single or a surprise EP. Kendrick, on the other hand, doesn't need to rush. His fans are still eating off Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. But if he does drop a new track addressing the ticket milestone, or subtly shading Drake, it could break the internet. The stage is set for a potential lyrical war, and fans are salivating. One viral tweet read, "Imagine if Kendrick drops a track called 1 million and Drake drops 1 million more. The culture would explode." Globe showing Europe Africa the cultural shift. Beyond the numbers, beyond the rivalry, this milestone reflects something bigger, a cultural shift in hip-hop. For years, commercial rap was dominated by vibes, party anthems, and algorithm-driven hits. Kendrick just proved that fans are hungry for something deeper, and they're willing to pay to experience it. This is why the shockwave isn't just about Drake versus Kendrick, it's about the future of rap. If Kendrick can sell 1 million tickets while rapping about generational trauma, systemic injustice, and personal growth, then maybe the industry has underestimated how much people want substance. Crown the throne question. And so we arrive at the burning question, is the throne shifting? Drake has the accolades, the hits, the streams. But Kendrick now has something Drake has never had, a cultural moment that feels untouchable. Numbers are one thing, but impact is another. Kendrick's 1 million tickets feel like more than sales, it feels like proof that he's the people's champion. As one fan put it on Instagram, Drake is the star. Kendrick is the movement. And movements, history tells us, last longer than moments. Firecracker the cliffhanger. But this rivalry is far from over. Drake is too competitive, too calculating, to let this moment slide. Whether it's through music, tour numbers, or subtle shade, he will respond. The only question is, how? Because right now, Kendrick Lamar has shocked the world. But will Drake let it stay that way? Or will he come roaring back to remind everyone why he's been on top for so long? The world waits. The culture debates. And the throne feels more contested than ever. Hashtag Kendrick shocks the world. Hashtag Team Kendrick. Hashtag Team Drake. Hashtag hip hop debate. Hashtag rap culture. Hashtag 1 million tickets at Kendrick Lamar at Champagne Poppy. When Kendrick Lamar's team officially announced that his tour had crossed the 1 million ticket mark, it wasn't just a headline, it was a cultural earthquake. The aftershocks rippled across social media, radio shows, industry boardrooms, and even among fellow artists. If part 1 was about the shock and part 2 about the rivalry, part 3 is about the world's reaction, because when the fans speak, the industry listens. Globe showing Europe-Africa fan reactions, a digital civil war. Within minutes of the announcement, Twitter/X, TikTok, and Instagram were flooded with reactions. For Kendrick fans, it was vindication. They had long argued that their favorite wasn't just a critical darling but a global superstar. Now they had proof in black and white, 1 million tickets. One viral tweet read, Kendrick sold 1 million tickets without chasing TikTok trends. Let that sink in. Another said, y'all called him boring, said he couldn't sell arenas. Now he just shocked the world. Drake's fans, of course, didn't stay quiet. They fired back with their own takes. Numbers don't lie, but let's not forget Drake's last tour grossed over $200 million. Stop acting like Kendrick reinvented the wheel. Drake sells vibes, Kendrick sells sermons. Different lanes. Both kings. But the louder voice belonged to Kendrick's supporters. Because for years, the biggest criticism against him wasn't his lyrics or artistry, it was whether he could compete commercially with someone like Drake. And now that excuse was gone. Hashtags like hashtag Kendrick shocks the world, hashtag Drake versus Kendrick, and hashtag 1 million tickets trended for days. Memes painted Kendrick as the new king, holding a crown while Drake looked on in disbelief. Fans even created edits of Kendrick's face superimposed onto gladiators, with Drake as the rival emperor looking nervous from the stands. It wasn't just hype, it was history unfolding in real time. Chart-increasing industry reactions, the money talks. Behind the scenes, industry executives were stunned. Tour promoters, agents, and record labels immediately recognized the gravity of the milestone. Selling 1 million tickets isn't just about popularity, it's about trust. Fans are investing their hard-earned money into seeing Kendrick live, a sign of long-term loyalty. Billboard analysts pointed out that this achievement could shift how festivals and major concert venues treat Kendrick. Suddenly, he's not just a must-book act, he's a guaranteed sellout machine. That changes the bargaining power completely. Music executives whispered that Kendrick's next move, whether an album or another tour, will likely come with unprecedented backing. Endorsement deals, brand partnerships, and even film opportunities could skyrocket. One insider claimed, "This isn't just a win for Kendrick. This is a win for lyrical hip-hop. Brands are going to rethink who really moves the culture." Musical Note's fellow artists weigh in. Other rappers didn't stay silent either. Some congratulated Kendrick publicly, while others threw shade to stir the pot. J. Cole reportedly liked a tweet that said, "Kendrick just proved the pen still wins." Fans saw it as subtle support. Future dropped a cryptic Instagram story with the caption, "Still the biggest in the game." Was it aimed at Drake? Kendrick? Nobody knows, but fans debated it all night. Up-and-coming artists posted reactions too, with one writing, "Kendrick just opened the door for all of us who actually care about lyrics. Respect." Even outside of rap, pop stars and athletes chimed in. NBA players tweeted about buying Kendrick tickets, while Hollywood actors praised him for keeping real art alive. Meanwhile, Drake's celebrity circle? Mostly quiet. A silence that felt deafening. Drum the emotional impact on fans. For many fans, this wasn't just about music, it was about identity. Kendrick represents the underdog, the thinker, the artist who refuses to compromise. So when he shocked the world with 1 million tickets, it felt personal. Fans in interviews outside concert venues were emotional. "I've been riding with Kendrick since Section .80. Seeing him do this makes me feel like we won too. It's not just rap, it's culture. He's telling our stories, and now the world is finally giving him his flowers." The emotional connection is what makes this moment so powerful. Drake inspires fun, vibes, and energy. Kendrick inspires reflection, empowerment, and pride. And when that kind of artistry reaches 1 million ticket buyers, it feels like a collective victory for the fans themselves. Balance scale the cultural divide. But here's the truth, this isn't just Kendrick versus Drake, it's about two philosophies of hip-hop colliding. Drake's lane, accessibility, global hits, dance tracks, club anthems. Kendrick's lane, storytelling, social commentary, depth, artistic risk. For years, critics framed these as separate lanes. But Kendrick's milestone blurred those lines. He didn't just dominate artistically, he dominated commercially. That shook people because it suggested that maybe hip-hop doesn't have to choose between art and numbers anymore. This sparked debates across podcasts, YouTube breakdowns, and TikTok commentary videos. Some argued Kendrick has now proven that the era of shallow hits might be fading. Others pushed back, saying Drake's dominance in streaming still makes him untouchable. But the very fact that people are debating shows the power of the moment. Crystal ball, what comes next? With the fans celebrating and the industry buzzing, all eyes are on the next moves. Will Drake respond musically? Insiders say he's working on a record that could directly address Kendrick's milestone. Some speculate it'll be a subliminal diss track, others believe it'll be Drake doubling down on his global dominance. Will Kendrick drop new music? His silence since the milestone has only added to the mystique. If he follows this achievement with a new album or single, it could cement the shift in hip-hop's hierarchy. What about the tour itself? Selling 1 million tickets is one thing, but delivering performances that meet expectations is another. If Kendrick pulls this off live, his legend will grow even stronger. Fire, the shockwaves keep spreading. At its core, Kendrick's 1 million tickets are more than numbers. They're shockwaves that shook fans, humbled rivals, and changed industry conversations. For the first time in a long time, hip-hop feels unpredictable. The crown feels unstable. The throne feels contested. And maybe that's exactly what the culture needed. As one fan wrote in a viral TikTok caption, "We're witnessing history. This is the moment our kids will ask us about years from now." Hashtag Kendrick shocks the world. Hashtag 1 million tickets. Hashtag rap culture. Hashtag Team Kendrick. Hashtag Drake vs Kendrick at Kendrick Lamar at Champagnapoppi. Kendrick Lamar's achievement of selling 1 million tickets isn't just a personal victory, it's a cultural reset. Hip-hop, an art form born in the Bronx and spread across the globe, has seen countless milestones. But this moment feels different. This is bigger than just one artist outselling another. It's about the direction of the genre itself. And as the world reacts, the burning question is, where does hip-hop go from here? Milky Way: the shift from hits to legacy. For years, the hip-hop conversation has been dominated by streaming numbers, chart placements, and viral hits. Drake mastered this system better than anyone, churning out anthem after anthem, each one designed to dominate playlists and parties. But Kendrick's 1 million ticket sales point to something deeper, the value of longevity and artistry. These aren't fans coming just for one viral hit, they're coming for a body of work, for albums that tell stories, for a live experience that feels almost spiritual. This could signal a shift in hip-hop's future, where legacy outweighs virality. Artists may now think twice before chasing a TikTok trend and instead focus on building a timeless catalog.
Musical notes: the Drake question, can he reclaim the throne? Drake is still one of the most powerful forces in music. His streaming dominance is unmatched, and his ability to drop a hit seemingly overnight is legendary. But Kendrick's shockwave raises a question. Is Drake's formula starting to show cracks? Some insiders believe Drake will respond with his most ambitious project yet, an album that not only delivers hits, but also takes aim at Kendrick's artistic credibility. Imagine a Drake album that blends chart toppers with deeply personal storytelling. Could he pull it off? Absolutely. But would fans accept it? That's the gamble. If Drake stays in his lane, Kendrick might continue chipping away at his crown. But if Drake evolves, the rivalry could spark a golden era where both push each other to greater heights. Microphone: the rise of conscious rap in the mainstream. For decades, conscious rap, the kind that tackles politics, social issues, and cultural identity, was seen as niche. Important, yes, but rarely topping charts or selling stadiums. Kendrick just shattered that stereotype. By selling 1 million tickets, he proved that fans are hungry for substance. His shows aren't just concerts, they're experiences, almost like cultural seminars wrapped in music. This could inspire the next wave of rappers to embrace storytelling and message-driven music without fearing they'll be too deep to succeed. Expect to see more new artists branding themselves as the next Kendrick, focusing on lyrical skill and thematic depth. Labels may even start scouting differently, looking for artists who can build lasting careers instead of one-hit wonders. Television media and pop culture repercussions. The media loves a rivalry, and Kendrick vs. Drake is becoming one of the most compelling in modern music. Every move will be dissected. If Drake drops a single, people will compare it to Kendrick's catalog. If Kendrick performs at an award show, the ratings will spike as fans look for subtle dices. Talk shows, podcasts, and YouTube commentators will milk this rivalry for months, maybe even years. This spotlight will likely benefit hip-hop as a whole. Pop culture thrives on moments of tension, and right now, hip-hop is center stage. The world is watching. Stadium touring becomes the new battleground. Album sales are declining. Streaming has diluted the power of charts. But live performances remain the one undeniable marker of success. Fans can fake streams, but they can't fake ticket purchases. Kendrick has now set the standard. 1 million tickets or bust. Other rappers will feel the pressure to prove they can pack stadiums too. This could lead to a touring renaissance in hip-hop, with artists pushing harder than ever to craft unforgettable live shows. Drake, for instance, may double down on his next tour, adding more cities, more spectacle, and maybe even bringing surprise guests to prove his global dominance. Meanwhile, Kendrick's shows will likely evolve into even more theatrical, cinematic experiences, because when you shock the world, you have to keep raising the bar. Balance scale: the cultural divide deepens. Hip-hop fans are now split into two camps more than ever. Hashtag Team Kendrick, who value lyrics, artistry, storytelling, and authenticity. Hashtag Team Drake, who value hits, consistency, and global appeal. This divide isn't toxic, it's energizing. It sparks debates, think pieces, and even academic discussions. It forces fans to think about what hip-hop should represent in the future. Is it a space for pure entertainment, or a platform for reflection and change? Kendrick's milestone suggests it can be both, but fans love to argue, and the internet loves the drama. Crystal ball, a possible golden age ahead. The most exciting possibility is that this rivalry could launch hip-hop into a new golden age. Think back to the days of Jay-Z versus Nas or Tupac versus Biggie. Those rivalries fueled some of the best music the genre has ever seen. If Kendrick and Drake continue pushing each other, we may see groundbreaking albums, unforgettable tours, and lyrical battles that fans will study for generations. Other artists, inspired by the competition, might elevate their craft too. Hip-hop thrives on tension, and right now the tension is electric. Memo: the legacy in the making. At the end of the day, Kendrick Lamar's 1 million ticket shockwave is about legacy. He's no longer just the Pulitzer Prize winner, the critical darling, or the socially conscious poet. He's now a commercial powerhouse, capable of standing toe-to-toe with one of the biggest hitmakers of all time. The future of hip-hop may no longer be about who dominates playlists. It may be about who dominates history books. And if that's the case, Kendrick just took a giant leap forward. High voltage, the final question. So what happens now? Does Drake respond with a hit that reminds the world why he's been on top for over a decade? Does Kendrick follow his ticket sales with an album that changes music forever? Or do both artists keep building their empires, creating a rivalry that defines this generation of hip-hop? Whatever the answer, one thing is clear: the game has changed. Kendrick Lamar shocked the world, and hip-hop will never be the same again. Hashtag Kendrick shocks the world, hashtag hip-hop future, hashtag Drake versus Kendrick, hashtag 1 million tickets, hashtag rap culture at Kendrick Lamar at Champagne. And there it is. Kendrick Lamar has officially shocked the world, selling a jaw-dropping 1 million tickets and leaving even the mighty at Champagne stunned. But this isn't just a headline, it's history in the making. The crown of hip-hop is shifting, and you're watching it unfold in real time. Now the question is, where do you stand? Are you rocking with hashtag Team Kendrick, celebrating the rise of the lyrical king? Or are you holding strong with hashtag Team Drake, waiting for the six gods' inevitable response? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We're featuring the best ones in the next video. Thumbs up, smash that like button if you believe this is a turning point for hip-hop. Bell, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in this explosive rivalry. Mobile phone with arrow, share this video with your crew. Tag at Kendrick Lamar and at Champagne, and let's keep the debate alive. Hashtag Kendrick shocks the world, hashtag Drake versus Kendrick, hashtag hip-hop history.